Hello, Nuggets friends in my world. Today is a Monday. Let's get this week started, whether we feel like it or not. And in my world, we are busy at my house. We've got 6 kids at 3 different schools, and we're switching one of those kids to a different school already this school year. It's busy, it's wacky. And in my world, it is not perfect. Life isn't perfect. Relationships aren't perfect. There is speed bumps. There is deep difficulty week by week, sometimes day by day. So that's why we meet here and we grab our nuggets. We get our hearts looking upwards to the Lord to be encouraged. Let's go with this card today. Daniel chapter 4, 34 and 35. Now, this is a great verse when things aren't perfect. It says this: praise and honor the Lord who lives forever, for his dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the inhabitants of the earth are accounted as nothing, and he does according to his will among the host of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay his hand or say to God, "What have you done?" Man, there is some massive theology in there. There's some massive security in there for our busy days and for our imperfect days. Let's pause and pray and think about this huge God we have ruling over us. You want some good news on this day? I do. Here it is. Here's the verses we read. 2 major thoughts for your hopefulness, for your stabilization internally today. Here they are. Number 1, God never loses control. And number 2, God never does wrong. God never loses control. God never does wrong. The first part of the verse says that God's dominion is an everlasting dominion, and his kingdom endures from generation to generation. God never loses control. And the encouraging piece to me here is the word kingdom is used, and it brings my mind to the Gospels, where Jesus is teaching and traveling around talking about the kingdom of God a lot, the kingdom of God where God is rescuing things from sin and he's recreating things and recreating people to live in his perfect kingdom, the kingdom of God that endures from generation to generation. The encouraging part to me is that as Jesus taught and traveled, he was always inviting people into the kingdom. So the reality that God is always in control, that his kingdom never fails, isn't just something that's far away and up in heaven, but it's something that we're invited to enter into. It's something we're invited to rest in. It's something we're invited to participate in. God is in control today. In the midst of our broken world, his kingdom endures through our lifetime and through the next generation and through the next generation. And you're invited to participate in his kingdom where you see him as the one in control, and rather than having to control everything yourself, and where you see yourself as an agent, an ambassador of his in this broken world. You let his power go through you because he's in control. And the second thought was God never does wrong. The last phrase in our verse says, "No one can say to God, 'What have you done?'" Now, I don't know about you. I am often tempted to ask God, "What are you doing? Why is this happening? Why did this happen in the past? Why did you steer history this way?" But this verse says, God never does wrong. There's no reason to ask him, why did you do this? God, did you do wrong here, God? You seem to have failed here. And I want you to be reminded today, your God is fully sovereign, in full control, and he's also fully wise. He has perfect wisdom. He never does wrong. He cannot do wrong. And I need to preach these to myself today on this Monday. For me, it's a Monday where things are busy, things aren't perfect. I need to preach to myself. I've got a God who's in control, and I've got a God who never does things wrong. I'm going to live in the hopefulness, in the security of that today, while I try to figure out all the pieces around me. We'll see you next time.